began in 1895 with silent comedy films. They used to use the slapstick and burlesque techniques to try and be funny. Charlie Chaplin used this silent slapstick technique, was very funny in those times. And Walt Disney came along and took the world by storm. In the 1930s, sound was finally introduced, which helped silent films and actors like Laurel and Hardy actually be heard. And even after they were heard, they became very popular and continued to participate in silent films. And actually, the sound began to make its way into military themes, so Disney and military were making comedy movies.
In the 1960s, dark humour began to rise in popularity, along with spin-offs such as Dad's Army and On the Buses. 1979, however, made Monty Python popular, with his live Monty Python and the Holy Grail film. The 1990s began the rise of rom-coms, along with family films like Home Alone and spoofs like Scary Movie. And up until that point, comedy films were a lot more popular than comedy television. We've done a lot of research on famous comedy directors. So, for example, we've got people like the Lumiere brothers who directed one of the first comedy films. And then you've got more up-to-date people like Edgar Wright, who famously directed films like the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End.
The amount of comedy films nowadays are 15 or 18 because of the new jokes in there. There's also some discriminate jokes in the films nowadays.
I usually expect to see sort of light-hearted, witty scenes that sort of make you laugh straight away. But they don't give away like too much of the film, and sort of if you can instantly laugh at a comedy trailer, then it's usually something that I would want to go see at the cinema.
Very good.
I expect to see a good storyline, but nothing too serious. Sometimes the comedy films have their serious moments, but like a lot of it you can laugh about.
Most of the time, I expect for the trailer to focus on the comedy. You can have bits of plot being shown, whatever, so the audience understands what they're getting into when they're watching the film. But if it's a comedy film, you want to focus on the comedy, really.
Yes, like what the best of what I can expect from the film, like the funny parts of the film.
Got to be Superbad because that's really funny. It's got some of my favourite characters in. It really enforces a lot of stereotypes with that film. Also a TV series In Between Us, which is really funny. It's just absolutely brilliant. And Regular Show, another TV series, which it's just got so much adult humour.
A lot of the best comedies out there, in my opinion, are mostly animated with things like Family Guy, South Park. But you've got films that are really good, like Superbad and Bad Neighbours.
Probably like South Park and Family Guy, good old animated.
At the moment, it's for like TV series, Community, In Between Us, Archer, and a film that I recently watched was Bad Neighbours. That was really funny.
There's characters in comedies that can be kind of relatable in some way because they're most of the time like they're picked on for some reason that no one knows, and you want to really relate and you want to see what they get into, and you want to see what kind of escapades they get into.
What kind?
Escapism. Try and get away from the stress of daily life.
It's just really light-hearted, you know, it's nothing too serious that you have to pay a lot of attention to, you know, it's a good way to pass the time.
For a laugh, really. I mean, who doesn't watch comedies for a laugh?
A stupid one, and then the one that's sort of like the sensible one that tells the stupid one off. So.
Oh, well, there's usually like, you know, stereotypical, quirky characters, the sarcastic ones, like the weird ones, and the stupid ones, you know. They just get different laughs.
You expect to see a sarcastic hero kind of like taking the mick out of one of his friends or something all the time. Like maybe he's not a popular kid, he's taking the mick out of himself, so he takes the mick out of his friends.
Okay. Thank you. You're like your hero, your villain, and you can sometimes have like a group of people to like help you out. But you always have like a princess sort of, in which the hero's trying to work towards